Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Welcome to a very sleepy episode of the Cubing Show.
All of us just coincidentally happened to sleep in this morning.
Wait, Bryce,
Yep.
did you sleep in? I know, Brad and I both missed it because we slept in, but,
I was awake when we were supposed to do it, but I was lying in bed.
yeah, bro, fun fact, I've been making, a conscious effort this last month to get up at, 7 every day. Be like, I'm gonna get up early every single day, get my sleep cycle completely in check, everything gonna be right. This morning, I got up at 7, it's just nope. Yeah.
So we've had our first visitor using Bing to visit our site.
Yep, it's a milestone.
We're just wondering, you know how to use the internet, right? I'm pretty sure everybody who searches from Bing doesn't know how to use the internet.
Fair enough.
Or have very little knowledge of it.
Yeah, I want to know, who's the listener? There's got to be someone listening right now who was this person.
Bing is the best browser around. Everybody should switch. Bing is my maid speak cube.
That listener who uses Bing, contact us somehow, YouTube, Reddit, whatever, and tell us why. Or just change your ways, seriously, because no one should live like this. Alright, there's a lot of milestones for this podcast today. First, conspiracy theory relating to our podcast. Okay. You ready for this? Gonna drop
Yes.
bombshells. Bryce does not exist.
Oh god. So
Evidence for this. The evidence is, when there's two people talking, it is always Reese and I, and never Bryce. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that makes sense, I'm just saying that's the evidence I was told. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, Bryce
Maybe
sounds
I
like...
am a robot that cannot process two people talking at once.
All of us just talk at once so we can just, I don't know, prove this one. So,
Okay.
hello, oh my god, Brad, join in.
I refuse to
I'm
participate.
gonna read out all my friends' Steam names. Ready?
Brad is
Host,
Illuminati
Bacon
confirmed.
Death Star, Epic Ninja, Ethan Ladberry, Joshy AT,
Hello.
Orthodox Sniper, the Cow
I'm
Commando,
talking while Bryce
Oh my
is...
god.
Swaggy
Hello.
Jew
This-
underscore X.
Count.
Okay,
The
stop with
swaggy
the goddamn
Jew.
conspiracy theories. Alright,
Alright, next piece of evidence. Bryce's name is a combination of Brad and Reese. Pretty compelling.
Holy... See, I guess I could, be thought as Bryce, because I have, a slightly... My voice is, kind of similar to him. He's got a slightly deeper voice, though. But I could, go into my Bryce voice, hey guys, what's up? I'm Bryce.
The third piece of evidence, which I find the least compelling, is that his voice is a combination of Reese's and mine, pitch shifted down.
What are you talking about?
No, come on. That's silly. Maybe Brad's just some editing masterman and he can just, work it all out and kind of, mix our voices together. Pitch
I
it
am an
different.
editing masterman, though.
Yeah, man.
It takes a masterman to turn this crap show of a podcast into something listenable.
Yeah, he's pro. He uses Bing.
Yeah, it was me, I have to admit, I'm the Bing user. And also, we should probably apologize for our crimes here. We did fake Bryce, it is true.
Yeah.
I don't know how we go forward with the listeners knowing this information. But I guess you're just gonna have to deal with it.
You really... I really can't bag people for using Bing, because I still use Internet Explorer.
What?
Seriously?
Shut up. Mine's actually, fast,
Is it just
though.
you're not bothered to install Chrome or
I-
Firefox? Or
Okay,
you
I
actually
have
prefer it?
Chrome, and it is the same speed as Internet Explorer. No joke.
Then you should use Chrome. It's better. More things support Chrome. Internet Explorer it's like a dead weight on web programming.
Yeah, but I'm so used to pressing the Internet Explorer button.
Just replace it. Put the Google Chrome button
Fine, I'll do that now. I just
where the Internet
did it.
Explorer
I
button is.
just did it.
Problem
I
solved.
just did it.
Wait, just to
God.
make sure, you're using Internet Explorer, not the new Windows 10 one, right?
Yeah, I'm using Internet Explorer here. Not Edge or whatever you
Dude.
people call it. I'm using the original. I don't fake.
You don't Bryce.
I don't Bryce, no.
Okay, next thing. Speedsolving.com got an update.
Yay.
This thing is
Yeah.
complicated, man.
Yeah,
I mean-
when everybody when they changed the whole new speed solving format, everybody was like, they were just clicking around trying to work out how to use it because it was so different to before. If you knew what it was like before, you'll know how different this is. And especially, probably the thing that I've liked the least is that it's impossible to get to the. Well, it's not impossible. It's just really hard from the homepage to get to the new posts part. So I just made a shortcut to the new post part because that's where I usually look.
Yeah, new update's alright. Like, it looks better, but I find a bit of the functionality is lacking.
Yeah, I'd agree. An interesting thing it has now is increased kind of profile interactancy. I don't even know. It's like so it's much more easy to like someone's post now, and likes kind of are quite common now. And you can also do a whole lot of other stuff as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't checked it out yet. I just went onto the website. It does look a lot different. I mean, like,
Well, yeah,
like the layout, it looks like it should be on a phone.
yeah. But the problem
it's
is you're only on the homepage. It gets different when you actually get to the actual forum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if you have an account, because there's like a whole bunch of new options for your account, which I actually quite personally like. So
It's pretty cool. Like, on the homepage, there's like a whole bunch of news. It looks like some sort of a news website.
That's
pretty cool. Like,
that's
they've
been
got
there forever, pretty much.
18 hours ago, world record, 3 blind. I never did that. What
Yeah.
3 blind mean?
Yeah, Gianfranco Hongui, I think it was. 25 point something. Oh, congratulations to him, by the way. So the functions you can have for your account now is like you can view your personal details, you can view your signature, contact details, privacy, preference, alert preferences, avatar, password, your newsfeed, conversations, alerts, likes you've received, your content, people you follow, people you ignore, and two-step verification, which is actually a decent amount of stuff, and it's all very kind of accessible. Yeah. I don't know what to feel about it, because it's different. I can't say it's generally better, but I can't say it's generally worse either.
Okay, moving on to follow-up. We requested, sorta, that, somebody make a parody of cubing reviews, and it has been done by Entire TV, with the title, Every Cubing Review, ! Stop making unnecessary reviews, please! ! At least he's got manners.
Yeah.
So what he's done here is basically like a parody, a completely over-exaggerated version of a stereotypical Rubik's Cube review.
Okay, I'm just gonna put
convincing.
I'm just gonna put it forward here. Hats off to you, man, because you almost kind of like pretended to do my accent that I was doing in the actual podcast last episode, which was really weird. It's like, hi guys, today I'm going to be doing my my review, and it's like he did that, and like he copied like half of my dialogue word for word, and it was the best. So yeah,
he's even got the 20-second intro.
He has
quality.
It's high tech, man.
So that's pretty cool. Thank you to Entire TV for making that, and check it out if you're listening. It's pretty amazing. Okay, now we got quite a few of these. A lot of them were like jokes, but I like something worse than faking a world record. Vermont tells Forresting.
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think this is the only one that's kind of worth talking about. Is Epicuber7 said, mixing up all the CubeConf's data entries, literally every single one of them, and modifying/destroying all the scrambles, entry cards, etc. Okay. Somebody responded to him saying that that's a cybercrime. I don't know if that's a cybercrime, but I'm just gonna go off the assumption that it isn't.
No.
Yeah, I agree. It's
the police are gonna come down and knock down your door because you messed up the entries on CubeComps.
They'll conduct a search warrant on your property and open your door.
Stand back! He's got a computer with CubeComps.
I think this is a fairly good example because it's a fairly bad thing you can do that isn't. It's like
It is
violates
bad.
WCA regulations, and
Yeah.
not the law. Although it might, I don't know. But again, we're just gonna go with the assumption that this isn't breaking the law. But anyway, so like the reason this is bad is because then all the data from the competition, like all the solves that everyone did, was then like redundant, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That would
So,
feel
at the
terrible
solve-
after doing like 7x7 averages of 5 and oh no, but it's made of 3. Still.
Yeah, but
Those
at the comp
things
that
take a
Martin
while.
faked his solve, right? All the
Yeah.
solves from that competition had to be scrapped. So it has like the damage of that having everybody's solves being demolished, redundant, plus he faked a world record. So if you think that messing up all the data from a competition is worth more than 3 years, then like Martin deserves 7 years for faking the world record plus the 3
Wow, that's
or
a good
4
point.
years.
Yeah,
For-
I never realized that all the solves from that comp had to be scrapped when he faked that world record. I actually never realized that, but wow. Yeah, that that makes it a lot worse than I thought.
Yeah, and then there was this next comment.
Yep. Somebody in the Reddit thread requested that somebody make cubing ASMR. Now,
Alright.
Bryce.
Alright. I haven't heard of ASMRs before, and Brad sort of just outlined it for me. I looked it up, and then I went on to the YouTube video, which was an ASMR. Listened to it for about 2 seconds. I was like, what is this? It was made me feel so uncomfortable and weird, so just instantly closed the tab. But I don't know what people use these for, but
Should we
don't
make
really.
should we make a straw poll where it's like, does ASMR make you feel relaxed or does it make you feel uncomfortable? Because it definitely makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, the video that I watched, it was like this lady. She was like leaning into a microphone. And she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Just like whispering. You could hear like a spit when she's talking. It's like,
Yeah, and it's like
oh, what is this?
yeah, it's weird. I can see why people get enjoyment out of it. Like I don't like total silence. I like the sound of sounds. But this is kind of weird to think that there's somebody doing this for like 7 hours, just sitting in their room, just like making noises. It's so weird.
Like, is there really not anything else that you can do to amuse yourself? Like,
Yeah.
go out and play a
Phrasing.
game? I don't know.
So would you consider doing a cubing version of this, Bryce? Hold your gummy oolong up to the microphone. Start spinning it seductively.
No doubt somebody will.
I feel like if this was ever made, then it would be sarcastic. But
No,
yeah,
this guy, Commutator and Macrodad, who I think we've mentioned before, his suggestion was unironic. This guy really wants some cubing ASMR, you know?
Yeah, I bet.
Is that happening? Listeners, okay, if somebody can make a parody of cubing reviews, somebody make cubing ASMR.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the request. Entire TV, get on it. Make some cubing ASMR for us.
Okay, let's get on to news. We were going to talk about the fail world record 2x2 average, I think. So recently, what's his name? Kevin Gerhant from Germany. He got a 2.12 average on the 2x2 Rubik's Cube. And what made this average so special is without a +2, it would have been a 1.45 average. Because the solves were pretty easy. He got like, I think it was 1.8, then he got 3 point something, and then he got 1.2, then he got another 1.2, but it was a +2, so then he had a counting 3, then he got a 1.0. So that was very, very sad thing, because he didn't really even do anything about it. If you watch his video, the cube actually +2'd itself, essentially. It hit the table and it came a +2. So
oh,
it
that's
wasn't
so
really
unlucky.
wasn't really his fault, and it definitely would have been world record average. So, guys, let's talk about plus twos. Are they too harsh?
We did talk about this in, was it our first episode?
12 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Aptly
Gosh.
titled Trouble with Plus Twos.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, if they were to have some sort of rule about plus twos, how they sometimes wouldn't count, I mean, it would have to be really specific, and there'd probably be some way around it.
Yeah, but see, the problem with, like, if you say, plus twos too harsh, if you're on, like, a 7x7 solve, then they're not too harsh, because
No.
it's not,
Yeah.
it's a very small percentage of your 7x7 solve. It's like, if you get, let's say, a 5-minute 7x7 solve, and then increase it by, like, a plus 2, what percentage is that? Hang on, we need to do some math here. Yeah, 0.6%. 0.666%. That's how much you're increasing it by. But then if
Yeah.
you get a plus 2 on a 2-second 2x2 solve, then you're doubling it, right? It's
Yeah.
200% and not 0.6. So the problem is, right, plus 2s vary in harshness across their events. Like on 7x7, you basically may as well not get a punishment at all, because it's so small.
Yeah.
But then on 2x2, you may as well get a DNF. It's way too harsh on those, on like, especially like on Pyraminx as well,
Yeah.
and on Scube, on the really fast events.
Do you reckon Pyraminx is the most plus 2 event? Surely.
Probably, yeah.
Because, like,
There's
the amount
tips.
of plus 2s I have in Pyraminx. Like, okay, so I practiced Pyraminx for my last comp, which for me is unheard of, right? And I was averaging like mid-6. My average could have been a mid-6 average, but I plus 2 to 5. And it turned out to be a high 7 average. And
That
I
sucks.
was annoyed. And for some reason, there was only one round of Pyraminx, which that's usually like 3, so...
My problem with plus twos on a pyramid is I'm probably holding it wrong, but like when I hold the pyramids and I finish it, a lot of the times like my pinky is resting on the back tip, and then when I put it down, sometimes it accidentally flips it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that can get really annoying.
Yeah, I'm considering getting the new Chi Pyraminx because I feel like that might plus 2 a little bit less than my Moyu does, because my Moyu's tips, they just move, like, they don't really click that much, they just move,
Yeah,
which really
yeah.
sucks. I have the Chi is a little bit
They
better
need a
than that.
pyramid with like a really solid click into place on the tip.
Which is actually why I really liked the Diane. Please don't kill me, Brad. But, I feel like the Diane, apart from the pops, was actually a decent cube because it clicked into place, and it was the right speed as well, and the tips were actually okay. It just pops. And if it didn't pop, honestly, it might have been my main Pyraminx. I'm not even gonna lie. Anyway, back to the topic of plus 2s. Brad, you were talking about this.
The only way you could fix this is to use like a scale of
Yep.
like what the punishment
Yeah.
should be per event, and then how do you measure that? Do you take like the world record? Do you take
we do
the
an average of-
solve?
Average of 5 of turning the cube once. Yes.
But like, do you take the average of every solve done in a WCA competition and then figure it out from there? Like, it's hard to know if the punishment needs to be less than 2 for 2x2, then what should it be? How do you figure that out? And then how do you scale that over to 7x7? It's hard to know.
Yeah. But
Well, then you could think like, would there be a specific time for each event, like a scale that you would take from one solve and add that on as like a plus 2, a penalty, or would it be like a percentage of the time that you actually got on that specific solve?
Yeah, it could be that.
okay.
But then
Yeah.
that's really hard to figure out.
We were talking
Yeah,
about.
that was-
I think we talked about this heavily in the first episode. Even the nub of nub, even the Chris Olsen of Chris Olsen's can turn the cube once in less than 2 seconds. I bet if you average 5 minutes, you can turn the cube in less than 2 seconds. Even if you have the worst Rubik's
Yeah.
spread ever, I think you can
Yeah.
turn the cube in less than 2 seconds.
Maybe it's the one move. Maybe we shouldn't be measuring it by the time of the solve and just like, it's one move, and the punishment for one move off is 2 seconds. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, sorry to this guy who failed his 2x2 world record. Better luck
Yeah.
next time,
Well,
I guess.
he still has like a 1.74 average, if I remember, which is European record. So he's pretty
Okay.
damn good at 2x2. But I really feel sorry for him because these 2x2 scrambles, they were easy, man. God, they were freaking just
Like, an opportunity like that never comes up.
yeah. He like one looked all of them, and like 90% of them I think were under 10 moves. So like I think like the ones that he like 4 out of 5 of them were under 10 moves, which is just sucks, you know. That sucks.
Moving on to our next topic. The Euxin timer, which we discussed when it came out, and criticized for its fugly appearance, is now sort of in legal contention. Through Speedstacks, who make the original timers that most of you are probably aware of. They say that the Euxin timer infringes upon their patents and that it is illegal. Hang on. So, this was an email that Speedstacks sent to Speedcube Shop, who were selling the Euxin timer. It says, "It has come to our attention that your company is advertising the cube/sports stacking timer for sale on," and then it gives links. "The Euxin and Fangson timers you are offering are an illegal copy timer that violates our company's intellectual property rights. We can provide more details pertaining to the specific patent violation. Prior to involving our lawyers, I'm writing to ask that you remove these images from all your websites and other online platforms that you immediately cease sales of those items and destroy any remaining inventory. Failure to do
Damn.
so is likely to bring legal action from our company." If you are
Destroy
interested
them.
in
What does he do? Walk up like Frodo and chuck them in the volcano?
Yeah, it's like, no, we need hydraulic press channel. Euxin timer.
Oh yes, mate. Oh, full of ideas.
If you're interested in purchasing legitimate products from us, yeah, blah blah blah. So basically, Speedstacks said this Euxin timer is a copy of ours. Get rid of it. Stop selling it. And I assume that they sent that email out to other Cube stores,
Yeah.
and said to stop selling them. So basically, it will become extremely hard to get a Euxin timer
Yeah,
because
which
most stores will be stop selling them.
I don't know about you. Do you guys actually think it's a copy? Because when I look at a Yushin timer, it's quite different to a speed stack timer. I mean, the buttons are all in different places. Obviously, the shape of the timer is different. The color of the timer is different. It even has that sound feature, which the regular speed stacks doesn't. So I find it hard to make it a copy.
Well, I guess it's just the certain patent features that that Speedstacks have made.
It's US patent 704 to 806B2 is a patent that Speedstacks owns. And they do have the correct patent to be able to stop the Euxin timer from being sold. Like, it does infringe upon their intellectual property.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so this is completely within their legal right to do. But should they have done it? This isn't strictly a cubing topic because Speedstacks is not a strictly cubing company.
I think they should know though that if people have the money, they're probably gonna buy the speed stacks over the Yushin. Because everybody knows that the Yushin was really gimmicky. I mean, the sound function, like the clapping thing. Oh god. So I think people knew that speed stacks were more reliable, and if they had the money, people were gonna buy them. I knew that I made the mistake of early on buying a QJ timer because I didn't have the money, and that was a mistake. It lasted 1 month, and then weird shit started going down.
Yeah.
Just buy a speed stacks. I mean, I don't think they should really be making that much of a fuss over it though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but if you were Speedstacks, would you have done this, or would you just have let the Euxin timer exist?
Well, I reckon I would have let the Yushin timer exist, but I'm probably, because I'm from a biased position, I'm from the cubing community and not the stacking community, so, you know, their mentality might be completely different to ours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because how would it feel if a speed stacking company made a timer for cubing? That would be weird.
Yeah, I guess they have to kind of understand that the Yushin timer was specifically meant to be made for cubing. But it still doesn't mean that it's not going to be similar to the speed stacks timer.
I mean, they're
But,
both timers, obviously.
if I was speed stacks, I would like to think that I would let the Yushin timer exist, because we'll let them have a go, pretty much.
Yeah.
And not only that, but this kind of creates a bad image for speed stack. Kind of makes them look kind of stingy.
Yeah, makes them kind of look uptight.
Yeah.
If I was Speed Stacks, again, you need to think of this from the perspective of like a company, not a person.
Yeah.
Like this is if I was Speed Stacks the company, then I would probably do this because it just makes financial sense. Like destroy the competition, and
Yeah,
like,
obviously.
is it that much of a PR disaster? Because how many people have heard of this? Like, there's a bunch of people who have heard of speed stacks timers, but how many of them know that they, filed a patent infringement thing on Yuxin?
Yeah.
Like, no one cares.
Exactly.
If I was speed stacks, I would probably have done this. But I don't know. The Yuxin timer was crap anyway. But it's sort of hard to. Does this mean that any other future, like the QJ timer, does that infringe upon? What if somebody else makes a speed stacks timer? Like a speed stack style timer. Does that infringe?
It doesn't matter whether they ban the QJ timer or not, because nobody buys that thing anymore, for good reason.
Yeah, but like, does this mean that the speed stacks timer is the only timer of its style that will ever exist? Or until the patent runs out?
No, but I just want to talk about my QJ timer, because mine, right, after 1 month of use, it would speed up, so it would count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, etc., etc. And then it would slow down, so it would go like 1, 2, 3. So you'd either get extremely slow solves or like world record solves. And the only way you could actually get it back into like usual counting is to like whack it against a wall. And I mean this like completely legit. Like I would like grab my timer, I would throw it at the table, and it would be fixed. Yeah, so that timer was stupid.
I wonder if Yuxin will now make a timer that will sort of dodge the pattern of speed stacks and still be a timer, but somehow, I don't know,
Yeah.
not be able to. Yeah.
Because, like, the Yuxin timer isn't very, like, visually similar to the speed stacks timer. You can't really
No,
get
not at
further
all.
away from it than while it's still having the same basic functionality. So, what I'm worried about is that, like, speed stacks will get a monopoly, and then anybody who could possibly compete with them will, like, shove a patent in their face and say, go and die. And then, like, so there'll be no competition, then speed stacks can, like, raise the price because no one else is competing, and that sort of stuff. So timers might become, it's just not good for everybody.
No.
Except speed stacks.
I think sometimes it can be okay to have a little bit of competition, because there has been cases in the past, definitely, where, like, because there's two different sides, sort of. One will come up with a good idea that the other...
Yeah, like, imagine if Bing didn't exist, right? If Bing didn't exist, then Google could just, like, be a crap show, and everybody would be still forced to use it, because, like, there'd be no competition.
Bing shows Google why Google is good and what they shouldn't do.
Yeah,
So-
but, like, if Google suddenly, like, becomes crap and starts, I don't know what they could do that makes everybody stop using Google. But, like, then everyone could just move over to Bing, and it's that threat of competition, even if the competition is bad, that stops Google from getting bad.
Yeah. But like think about in the cubing community, I feel like we're fairly lenient with our patents. Like, let's be honest, all cubes are essentially the same. Well, not really.
Yeah.
There are slight modifications in pieces, but they're all a Rubik's cube with corner pieces, edge pieces, and center pieces. And the last big claim that we had was, I think it was Diane and Rubik's, or either V-Cube and Diane, or stuff like that, or V-Cube and Moyu. Everybody knows that everything's essentially a V-Cube knockoff, but we don't care, and that's the greatest thing of all.
Yeah, I guess that's the other angle of this, is, like, in cubing. If we cared about patterns in cubing, then no cubes would exist. Because they'll all infringe someone's patent somewhere. But
Yep.
I don't know why VCube doesn't sue everybody. I guess they kind of do. But, like, they've just kind of accepted that maybe they shouldn't sue everybody because it's best for the community. I don't know.
Yeah, because there's so many different cubing companies, and, like, I don't know what company was the first one to come up with this. Was it Diane, I think, with the cut-off corners to allow for better corner
Florian
cutting?
cuts. Yeah,
Like,
I think it was.
Yeah, Florian. That's
No, it was me, myself, and Pi. Obviously. It's
yeah.
like,
Anyway,
me, myself,
like,
and Pi. I remember when I put this in my cubes, and it's really nice to see that cubes these days are implementing my idea. It's just like,
good.
just Pi, just
impression.
please. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Diane, who basically started the whole flooring whole kind of idea.
Yeah, like, imagine if Diane started suing everybody who came out with Florian holes after that. We'd be stuck with Zanchis.
Yep.
Like, they
I
wouldn't
like
be
the
in progress.
Zenchi though. I like old cubes. Old cubes are the best.
Old cubes ASMR.
Just a bunch of like spring noise.
Okay, I guess we're done. We done?